This super silly rom-com actually got me into the fall Halloween spirit. You're about to watch me read Happily Haunted Afters by Brittany Kelly. I'm going to be updating you periodically with my thoughts as I'm reading the book. So let's jump back in time to right before I read this book. I'm pretty excited to read this book. I don't think I expect this book to be like the most amazing thing ever. I don't expect it to be a 5-star, maybe not even a 4-star. I just expect it to be like cute and cozy and funny and like has that kind of fall spooky vibe, but not like scary spooky, more like cute cozy spooky, if that makes sense. So from my understanding, Happily Haunted Afters by Brittany Kelly is basically about our main character, and she's always dreamed of owning a hotel, and at one point she's just like, I'm fed up, I don't want to do these dead-end jobs, don't want to be with these deadbeat boyfriends, I want to fulfill my dream of owning a hotel. And so she kind of reestablishes her friendship with this guy named Jack, and he's an investor, and they basically used to be best friends, but then something happened and they stopped being friends. But she basically brought him back into her life to help with her hotel dreams, and she's trying to not have feelings about him, but also the hotel might be haunted or it might be rodents. Nobody's really sure. And so honestly, I hope that is haunted, because like haunted hotel romance, that is like unique and I want that in my life. So yeah, that's what I think the book is about. We'll see how right I am, if it's actually haunted or not, but yeah, come along with me and let's crack this book open. So I'm now a little bit more than 100 pages into Happily Haunted Afters, and here are my thoughts so far. This book is exactly what I expected it to be. It's a romantic comedy. It has essences of like haunted hotel cabin vibes, and to be honest, it's a little bit cringy sometimes as well. One of the things that always gets me in books that I just is when the books reference modern day things. And the reason I don't like that is because that ruins how evergreen a book is going to be. Like, people who are currently my age, hundreds of years or whatever into the future, are gonna be like, I don't get this reference. It doesn't say or mean anything to me. It's just confusing and it makes no sense. So this book does not have a long lifeline, because eventually things will pass and it won't make sense. So that's one of my biggest issues that I have with a lot of books that I've been reading recently, where it's just, please don't put those modern day references in. Your book will not have as long of a shelf life as you want it to. Please, I beg you. But yeah, basically, exactly as I mentioned, this book is what I thought it was. So it's about Emma and Jack, and we get both of their point of views from first person perspective. And Emma, she kind of sees herself as a failure. She ended up having this really great job when she worked in a hotel, but then I think like COVID happened, to be honest, is what happened. And then she ended up working at her parents' restaurant, living in like the garage and stuff, and she's not fulfilled, she's not happy, she's been in bad relationships, and she just wants like a sense of purpose and to really just show, even just to herself, that she knows that she has so much potential and she can do so much more about it. And so she really puts in all of this time and all of this effort and even money to work on this proposal for this hotel that she wants, and she's finally gonna be able to see it, but she knows she'll need an investor because she doesn't have a lot of money. And so that's when she reaches out to her former best friend, Jack. And we learn very quickly that Jack is the kind of guy who will do anything to get partner. And so his job essentially is to like buy houses and like development areas. And what he wants to do, and what he was told, and this is before he knows about Emma wanting this, because they're not talking right now, is that his boss basically tells him, hey, if you get this hotel and you just like outbid all the people and then just like bulldoze it so we can sell that land, you're gonna become partner. And he's like, sweet, that's what I want, because he just proposed to his girlfriend and she said no, and so now he's having a bad time. And then Emma calls him because he's an investor, and he doesn't realize at first that she's talking about the same hotel that he wants to basically destroy. And eventually he does realize it, and he's like constantly plagued with so much guilt, because he's like, I am going to be outbidding her and I'm just going to basically be ruining her dreams. But he also can't stay away from her because they finally reconnected, and he's having a really tough time. And something that I like is that they are trying to talk about what ruined their friendship, but then one of them or both of them just become too emotional and they have to stop and pick it up again later, because it seems like it's really tough that they went through, where it's like Emma had confessed her love to Jack, but she didn't realize that Jack was with his girlfriend at the time and her family asking for her hand in marriage, and obviously that ruined it, and then that messed up stuff. And so he goes to find her and she thinks that he rejected her, and so she goes and she hooks up with a random guy and he thinks that she can't commit, and it's like this whole drama. And so they stopped talking because they're really mad at each other and just like felt like they messed up each other's lives, and then now they're talking again and they're trying to get through what happened. And that it's refreshing because I like that they're not just ignoring it until it just builds up and explodes. They're like trying, and then they struggle, and then they're like, okay, we can try a little bit more. They're trying to be a little bit more like friends. They're trying to be business partners, and then they can bring up these discussions. And I think that's a really cool way to kind of like have that going, because nothing annoys me more than just like, oh, I'm not gonna tell you what's bugging me. You're gonna have to just read my mind. It's like, no, just talk to each other, be adults. And of course, there's that spooky aspect. We don't really know for sure if the place is actually haunted, or if there's just like a lot of things that it could be haunted, but it's actually just like rodents or like a creepy doll that happens to be in the closet, or random cold spots or stuff. I'm really hoping that it's haunted though, just because that would be so fun. It's like maybe she finds a way to market the haunted hotel or something, and it's still like that cool cozy dream that she has. I don't know, but yeah, I'm having a good time. Definitely a bit cringy sometimes, but this is exactly what I thought it was going to be, and entertaining is what I wanted. So yeah, I'm going to continue to read the book, and I will update you around the halfway mark, so I will see you then. So I'm now more than halfway through this book, and it's still exactly what I thought it would be, which is very, very silly, spooky-ish, and lots of like tension between the characters. The book still kind of annoys me with the modern day references and stuff, but I really like the tension between the characters. I like that Emma isn't like a normal main character, I guess. Like, she really does not think. She just, first thing that comes into her brain, she just bleh, just word vomits it out. She doesn't really think things through. She just goes straight into it, which is interesting, right? Because it's like, that's why people don't think that she can take on this kind of business venture, because that's the type of person she is, right? She just goes through things without a second thought. But we know that she's put a lot of thought, a lot of effort, and has been planning this for over a year. And so I think that it's really interesting to see this character and how everyone around her perceives her one way, but she's really, really trying. And there was a really nice, wholesome scene with her and her sister where they finally like talked things through, and I was like, yay. For all of the tension in this book, I was actually really surprised at how tame the spicy scene was. Like, I was like, wait, that's it? That's it? I'm still like in awe. So I was definitely expecting the spicy scene to be like pages and pages of spice. It kind of feels like a reward to the reader for going through all of that beautiful tension. So a bit disappointed in that. I was expecting more, but everything else about this book is definitely what I thought it would be. And it's definitely really entertaining. Like, don't go into this book thinking it's going to be the next like award-winning book. It's not that. It's solely just fluffy entertainment. I was just thinking about this, and I think that it's like the book equivalent of those Netflix kind of like holiday movies, except in like a spooky kind of setting. And I actually really like the spooky setting. That's what I was excited about with this book, because it's like, it's a second chance romance, but there's also like a haunted hotel. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's super unique. And it does stand true to that. And I like that there's a lot more emphasis on the spooky haunted hotel, while also developing our characters' relationships and kind of having them go through like the ups and downs together. And yeah, I like that it's a haunted hotel. I think that's so fun. So I'm going to continue to read Happily Haunted Afters, and I will update you when I finish the book with my final thoughts. So I will see you then. So I just finished Happily Haunted Afters, and this book, it got me into the Halloween spirit. I was really feeling, I was like, you know, doesn't really feel like Halloween time yet, and granted it is only the end of September, but I was like, I want it to feel like Halloween, and reading this book really got me into that. It had the spookiness, it had the romance parts, and it was just a vibe. Thoroughly entertaining, cringy at times, and just exactly what I was looking for. It really just got me ready to continue to read more kind of like fall Halloween-y books. It was cute, it was fun, the pacing was actually really good. There were some parts where I was like a little bit confused, especially like towards the end when it was like a reveal about like who was in the house. And I was like, but there's no description. So there's like no description of what that person looked like. And I was like, did I misunderstand it? So I did reread that part a couple of times, and it was just short and sweet. So today I'm going to be awarding Happily Haunted Afters a total of 3 stars. Like I mentioned, it had that pet peeve of mine where it's just way too modern. There's too many modern day references, which is really going to age the book really, really quickly. There were lines that just, it was too cringy. There were times where it was trying too hard to be funny, but there were also times where it was actually funny. It was definitely entertaining. It was spooky at times. It was romantic at times. And yeah, it was entertaining. It was good. Don't expect going into it being like the best book that you'll ever read in your entire life. But if you want something that's kind of like a brain cleanser, that's within kind of like the seasonal spirit, then you could pick it up. It's fun. So the next book that I'm going to be reading is Hollowed by Jessica S. Taylor, and this is a Sleepy Hollow reimagined story, so I'm pretty excited about this. I always like Sleepy Hollow, so I'm excited to see like how that's incorporated into this book, and I think it's a romance book too, so I'm like, win-win. So if you're interested in watching me read Hollowed or any other book that happens to be on my never-ending TBR, I just recently posted a video about my fall TBR, so those are all books that I'm going to be reading this fall Halloween kind of timeline, so definitely check that out if you haven't already. And if you haven't already, definitely hit the subscribe button and turn on the bell notification. That way you get notified anytime a new video comes out. If you enjoyed this video and you're starting to get into the spooky season spirit, definitely hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!